Entitled host tried to keep me from eating at nice restaurant. So, my wife, Zena, and I made reservations for a very nice restaurant that opened up in January. However, due to it being posh, new, and apparently had excellent food, me wifey and myself had to wait until last week in order to get a spot there. So, we got a babysitter, and a nurse for my granny-in-law and got all dolled up to go. We took my wife's car, and since it was brand new, she didn't want anyone but herself to ride it. So, she dropped me off at the door, and went to park the car. Now, it's important to note that we did call earlier and confirm the reservation. So the host was there. Now, I am well dressed up. A nice suit, nice haircut, clean shaven, and nice shoes, looking like a man of culture, and not as the tradesman I normally am. I guess at this point, I should mention that I am not fully white. I'm Irish-American on my dad's side, but, more importantly, I am also half Cuban that comes from my mom's side. While I do mostly look like my father, I have darker skin, brown eyes, and black hair like my mother's side of the family. From the way the host looked at me, I just knew this was going to be a problem. He had the face of a man that was witnessing a dog taking a dump on the carpet, and scrunched his nose like he was smelling its crap. I was thinking I should wait for my wife, since the reservation was under both of our names. But he spoke first. Entitled host, can I help you? His tone clearly stated that he didn't even want to look at me. Me, while trying to pretend not to notice, yes, there is a reservation under Phil and Zena, last names. The looked at the list. He was clearly not really reading it. No, I don't see your names here. Now, I experienced this sort of crap my entire life. So, I try to remain as polite and professional as possible. Me, check again. My wife called and confirmed the reservation. He checks again, shaking his head. No. There is no one here under that name. Mayhaps you and your wife are at the wrong restaurant? Yeah, I knew arguing with this guy was going to get me nowhere. So, I just wished him a good evening, turned around, and walked right outside. Zena was just about to enter the building as I was coming out. Zena, what's the matter? So, I explained about how racism was being a pain again, and she sighed. Zena sighed, what do you want to do? Me, well, we got the reservation and a night to ourselves. I want to try the food here, and I refuse to let that snot get in the way of that. So, you go in, confirm the reservation, and then I'll come in. I hate to say it, but it's a tactic we had to use in the past in order to get into restaurants. Most cases, it's just the host that gives us the problems. If it's the service as a whole, we would leave a poor review. Still, it's fun in a way. It's still fun to see me wifey go in, get us our table, and then me walking in to sit with her. The host looked like he swallowed something really sour as I sat down across from my wife. I half expected him to say something, but he just turned his head away. The service was lovely, the waiter we had was polite and quick, and the food was wonderful. But every so often, the would look over at us, and just frown. I saw him turn away two more couples that weren't up to his standards. Well, our evening was still wonderful. Despite the nasty looks we got, we still enjoyed our food. Of course, my wife called the owners and let them know what the host did and tried to do to us. She let the owners know that she will not tolerate such intolerance from a man that was turning away business. She added that such a host would eventually cause the restaurant to get a terrible reputation, and they would get into a lot of trouble over it. Well, 1 week later, I was talking to some neighbors and found out that the was no longer working there. Rumor has it that he turned away over 200 customers, not sure if it was true or not, and got fired over this. They hired someone that was much nicer, though Zena and I wouldn't find out until November when we go back again. Still, it's not the first time, nor the last time, that this will happen to me. Yet, it's still nice to see racist people like that getting wrecked in the end. Now let's look at the comments. I'm imagining that turning away judges, city councilmen, personal friends of the mayor, or the mayor himself, CEOs, An important businessman expecting a working lunch with someone important in the city. That restaurant dodged a bullet. I was glad you put in a complaint. It hurts my heart to read so often that people don't do that. For me, it's a sign how exhausted they must be from the constant hassle, and I don't blame them. But it makes me sad. They've given up. Not just on the world, but on themselves, and that means the have beat them. I'm happy when I'm reading about people who fight. And I use all my hidden Karen power to lend support when I observe stuff like this happening. I make people like that hoping the next customer will be Mexican, Cuban, Black, or a Martian, anyone but me. I do so in the hopes they'll learn to appreciate nice customers and who really to despise by showing them a foaming, spitting image of true nastiness in white skin. But only those who deserve it. To all the others who at least try, I'm an angel as much as I can.